Hi, I wanted to share with you the scrapbook I'm making with a magazine that I got on our spring training vacation. I always come home with a bunch of magazines from the places we're at, with mostly their ads and stuff, but this time I wanted to use it. I should have videoed before I started, but I already did some paper on the front cover. I covered whatever it said up there, and there was something here, so I covered that. But I wanted to keep the rest of this because it was, baseball spring training. The back I've already covered. I've had this paper forever, and so I finally used it. And I did the first cover. These were just ads. But I wanted to, so like this, it was the table of contents. So I kept this open. I plan on covering both of these, most of all this, but this talks about the history of the Cactus League. So I think I'm definitely going to keep this open, not cover it, but I will cover this. And I'll cover this, but keep this because this is a continuation of the story. Most of this are just ads, but this, I was going to cover most of it, just leaving open what the weekend we were there, but I think I'm going to leave it. So it's the baseball schedule for the whole Cactus League. Again, just we'll be covering all these ads. Now, I wasn't sure about these, so each page has an ad that I will definitely cover, and then it has a little tidbits about all the baseball's leagues that are there, baseball teams that are there. And I'm not sure, because we didn't see the Diamondbacks play, I wasn't sure if I was going to cover this or leave it here. I'm going to see how many pictures I have once I print out. We didn't take too many pictures, so I might just leave all of the team information, but just cover up the ads. There was one ad, and then I'll probably leave this as well. This is another history of the Cactus League. This ad I want to leave. I'll probably cover this thing up and probably this part, but I kind of like this moon that was a baseball, so I'm gonna have to do something interesting there. But yeah, these are just ads, more ads. And then at the back, it talks about all the different stadiums. And again, I was thinking of covering everything that didn't apply to us, and just leaving open these three that we stadiums that we went to, but now I'm not sure. I don't know if I want to cover them up, or I think I might just leave them, because it's, even though we didn't go to them, it's still interesting. Again, more ads. I kind of like this, but we didn't see any of this on our trip, so I think that might get covered. Maybe I'll keep the clouds, cover this, but this is the start, and right after this you'll see my completed. I might do a process video, but I'm not very fast at scrapbooking, so I probably won't. Anyways, right after this I will show you the completed scrapbook with pictures and all. Thank you. Okay, so halfway through getting all my paper and photos taped down, I ran into a problem. Right in the middle, the pages started coming out because it's so thick. So then I thought, well, let me put some washi tape and kind of push it in the middle, or open up the staples, and then this sheet came off. So I'm gonna have to think of another way how to do the scrapbook, and since I already started using the book, I'm gonna figure out how to fix it because I don't want to start all over. And I kind of like having this stuff in the middle of my scrapbook. So I will show you what I come up with. Thanks. After 2 years, I finally completed my Scottsdale album for 2018. I'm just going to do a quick flip through. What I ended up doing was getting an 8.5 by 11 album from Michaels, and I cut up the magazine to fit in the page protectors. The magazine was about 8 by 11, so there's still a little bit of space, but it works fine. So I did a little bit on the first page, but most of this is the magazine cover. The front cover was all ads, so I went in ahead and talked about our flight and how we had free drinks on the flight. This is just a layout of the hotel we stayed in. And you can see there's a little bit of space, but it's not a big deal. I kept the table of contents in the magazine, but then I put some pictures and background paper on these two sides. The first game we went to was in Maryville, so that was just that. And then my husband's friend joined us, so I just talk about that. And it was on St. Patrick's Day, so they had green beer. Then we went out to the bars and we went to dinner, so that we talked about that. Again, it was St. Patrick's Day, so that kind of fit. I left this from the magazine. It just talks about the Cactus League, their 71st season. And this is again from the magazine. Then this is the second day, and we went to breakfast, so I just journaled about that. Again, this is just from the magazine, and then I just put this little picture here. And then I talk about we went to a store called Baseballism. Then we took a walk around Old Town Scottsdale, which is super cute. If you ever go out there, you have to check that out. It's just has cute little shops and restaurants, lots of restaurants and some bars. Again, this is just from the magazine. Here is the second day at baseball. We were actually at the Rockies field, and they were playing the Giants, our team. And my husband's friend is a Rockies fan, so this was a perfect game. It was the Rockies versus the Giants. This is part of the magazine, and then just more of the game. And Madison Bumgarner was pitching, so I took a picture while he's on the mound. He's this little tiny dot, and then he was up to bat. So he's one of those spots down there. But I wore my Mad Bum shirt, so I made sure to take a picture with him in the background. And part of the magazine, again, Bumgarner, he hit a home run, so I talk about that. And part of the magazine, and I talk about my margarita. And the Giants won, I think it was 13-0, so it was a nice game for us. Then we went back down to Old Town Scottsdale to this old saloon. And so I just did a little journaling. Some more pictures from there. These both were from the magazine. And then I talked about at the beginning of the video how I really love this moon that was a baseball, so I just covered up all the wording here, and then there was something right here, so I covered that up, but I didn't do anything else to the page. And then we went to dinner with another of my husband's friends. So this is the third day. We went out to breakfast, so I just did a little journaling. And then we headed over to ASU and took some pictures around campus because my husband takes classes there. And then our third day was at the Giants Stadium. So that was this. Just some pictures. I think they lost by one, but that was still a good day. And just our drinks. We only had one drink that day because we were supposed to pick up my son from the airport, but then his flight was delayed. So we were supposed to have a really good, nice steak dinner, but we ended up having just this okay hamburger place because his flight wasn't going to come in till like 8:30 or something. And then my husband and I went for a walk, and we went to this cupcake place. And again, this was just from the magazine. Then I talk about how we finally went to the airport to pick up my son, and we met his girlfriend for the first time at the airport, picking them up. Then we drove them, I think it's an hour or so away, to Surprise, Arizona, where they were going to watch some games. And this is a picture of them, but I just put a postie over it. And instead of a nice steak dinner, they ended up having Chick-fil-A at 9:45. So it was a really long day, and we still had to drive back to Scottsdale. And then this is the last day. It just is, we got up early to go to the airport. We had coffee. I didn't have any photos, but I talked about this page also at the beginning of my video, how I really love the clouds and these rocks. So I just covered where there was people over here and it said something here, and I just covered that up. So that is it, and I'm so happy to finally be done with this album. I went through and I put background paper and I put the pictures. Then I went back through and I put all the little journaling areas. And then I went back a third time and wrote all the journal. So it was for sure a 2-year thing for me. But thank you for watching. Bye.